Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do some budget-friendly holiday gifts starting now. This will really help your stress level at Christmas if you start ahead of time, and these are super easy to make and everyone will love them. So if you want to know how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And be sure to give me a big thumbs up because it really does help my channel. Thanks. Right, Mixel? Okay, for this first one, we're going to be using some baking soda, and I'm going to use 1 full cup of this. Now, I'm using a half cup measuring cup for this, so I'm going to use 2 half cups. And if you get too much in there, level it out and take some of it off because you don't want more than 1 cup. Then we're going to use a half a cup of Epsom salt. Now you could use some that had a fragrance in it already if you want to. I'm not adding any fragrance to mine, and you definitely want to get all the little clumps out first before you pour it in. You're just going to get 1/2 cup of the Epsom salt, and then if you have a clump, you need to take it out. Next, we're going to add 1/2 cup of citric acid, and you can get this on Amazon. I think you can get it at the store too. Walmart probably carries it. And then we're going to add a half a cup of cornstarch to this as well. And cornstarch is kind of thick, so you don't want to definitely pour it into your measuring cup. Take a spoon and measure it out. Okay, next you're going to take a whisk and you're going to whisk this up really good. You want to make sure that you get every bit of this combined well. Now I'm using a measuring cup that I don't use for anything but bath and body products. I would highly recommend using a separate container that you're not using in your kitchen to mix this kind of stuff up with. Okay, after that's mixed real well, I'm going to take some coconut oil and I melted it in my microwave, and I'm using 2 tablespoons, and slowly add this in here and get this blended up. This is what's going to hold this all together. So spend some time really mixing this in good. Now you will have to kind of shake it out of your whisk a little bit because it is getting clumpy, but you definitely want to take some time to do this and get it blended in good. Okay, next I'm taking some witch hazel and I'm going to pour it into a teaspoon. I'm going to add this just a little bit at a time till I get my mixture where I want it to be. Now once you dump that in, you need to mix quickly because you don't want to activate the ingredients. We're just trying to get a consistency that's going to be like a snowball so it does hold together well. And I ended up using a total of 3 teaspoons for this whole thing. I know some people recommend using water in this. I would highly not recommend using water because you don't have a preservative in this. And once you start adding water to products, you'll need a preservative. And this is the consistency that you want that to end up being. Okay, next I'm going to start filling my molds. Now I just got these little round molds from Amazon. I'll give you the link for them. But I'm putting mine on a cookie sheet so that I can move them after the fact, after I get this all filled in. Now you want to take some time and really fill these in and press them down. You want them to be real packed. And you could use just the regular bath bomb round ones if you want to, but you get way more gift for your money if you do it in something like this. But just really press them down, and we're going to fill these completely full, and I ended up being able to fill almost 2 full trays with this one batch. And then you're going to set that aside and let that dry for about 6 hours. And I did still have plenty of ingredients left over, so I did make another batch, and I'm using a silicone Christmas tree mold that I got at Michael's. I would definitely use one that has like a festive look to it, like a Christmas tree or something like that, because it really does look good in your jars. What was left over from my Christmas tree, I was able to go ahead and fill some more of my little cavities on my round ones. 6 hours, you can start removing them from your molds. Now you will have a little bit of flaking off of them. Just wipe that off. It doesn't hurt anything. And I'm just setting mine on some freezer paper. And once I get them all out of my molds, I am going to let them set up for about another hour before I package them. Okay, to package these, I'm going to use a pint-sized mason jar, and I'm just going to fill it up with some crinkle paper. Just put it in the bottom so that you don't have the little bath bombs crack or anything like that. It just kind of helps protect them. And you can get quite a few in these little jars. I think I ended up making about 10 total with both of these recipes. Just kind of really fill it up in there, kind of get the dust off of them because you want them to be clean in there. And then once you get them on there, just put your lid on, and then we're going to decorate them. If you did the ones with the Christmas trees, I'll show you how many you can get in there. You can actually get a lot more of the Christmas tree ones in your jar for some reason, I guess because they have a little pointy tip on them. But these look really cute because they are real festive, so I would highly recommend making some that had like a Christmas theme on them. Okay, to package these, I've given you these little tags in the description below. You can just download and print them. And I'm just printing mine on some craft cardstock. Next, to package these, I'm just going to take some jute twine and I'm going to attach my tag with this around here. So just make sure it's long enough to tie it off. I'm just going to punch a hole in the side of it and I'm just going to run it through here and tie it around. Then I'm going to add a piece of greenery to it and a checked black and white ribbon. And I just got this greenery from Amazon. You just cut a little piece of it off, just stick it up underneath your twine just to give it a little bit of a festive look. And then just take your ribbon, tie it around to the front, and then tie it off into a bow. And I got this ribbon from Amazon. I'll give you the link for it. You get a really big roll of this for your money. I don't remember exactly how much it cost, but it was pretty reasonable. Cover up the top of the lid. I just cut out some 2-inch little round pieces of cardstock, put it in right on top. And then I'm taking some of these little gingerbread men that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to glue one right to the top. And that was pretty much it. I think that turned out so cute. Let me know what you think in the comments. This next one, I'm going to use some melt and pour soap, and it's an oatmeal milk soap base. I got it on Amazon. Now, you can use any kind of melt and pour soap that you want to. You can get it at Hobby Lobby. You can also get them at Michael's. And this one already came pre-perforated, so you have your little squares where you can cut it out. And I'm just going to use a little soap mold that I had, so I'm kind of just gauging how much I can get in it. Just kind of take some time to do that part so you don't waste a bunch of soap. But I'm just going to cut this all into cubes and then I'm going to start melting it. Now I'm going to do a two-tone colored soap, so I am going to color one part of it and then I'm going to leave the other part white. So I'm going to use 2 different plastic containers to melt this in, and I'm just going to melt this in the microwave. This is super easy. So just cut up your little squares. Even if you don't have a perforated squares on the one you buy, just go ahead and cut it up into little 1-inch cubes, just like that. I'm going to put about 1/3 of the soap in one container and 2/3 of the soap in the other container. The 2/3 I'm going to color and the 1/3 I'm going to leave white. Next, you're going to microwave it for 30 seconds. Then you're going to stir it and just keep doing that until it's completely liquid. For my coloring, I'm going to use a mica powder in the color Tangerine I got from Amazon. And then I'm going to use a sweet orange essential oil for my fragrance. Now that that's all melted, I'm going to start pouring it into my mold. Now I'm just going to distribute this evenly into 8 of my molds, and then I'm going to have a little bit of the white left over, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that here in a second. But just kind of just get it in the bottom area because we're going to put the color soap over the top of it. And once you get this poured, you're going to need to spritz it with some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, to get the bubbles out. And then you'll want to set this aside and let it dry completely before you pour your next color on top of that. And I'm just using a little spray bottle. Just spray it on there so you can get all your little bubbles out. The extra, I just poured it into another mold that I have. I'll give you the link for these molds. You get them on Amazon. It may not be the exact same color, but it'll be exactly the same size. And then just put that aside and let that dry. It's dried, you want to mix up your other batch and then add the mica powder. Now I'm pouring it in here like this. Don't do it this way. You'll get clumps. What you need to do is you need to take a little small bowl, pour your mica powder into it, add a little bit of rubbing alcohol, mix it together, and then pour it in. It will blend in so much easier. And you want to add your mica kind of slowly and then build up to the color that you want. Don't put a bunch of it in at one time. Just kind of build up till you get to the color that you want. I'm kind of doing like an orange sherbet color on this one. And when I put the white in my little soap molds first and then the orange sherbet color on the outside, it almost makes them look like little dreamsicles. And I think I ended up adding about 3 layers of the color in there to get the color I wanted. Next, I'm going to add my sweet orange essential oil, and I'm putting 10 drops in here. Now, you can put a little bit more than that, maybe between 10 and 15 for a 2-pound block of soap. But I tend to lean on the low side of it because I don't want people who have sensitivity to fragrance to be overwhelmed by it. And then I did end up adding a little bit more of the color just to get it a little bit darker. Okay, next, to add my color to the other soap, you're going to go ahead and spritz your soap again with the rubbing alcohol, and then go ahead and fill the cavity all the way to the top with the soap. And then once you get finished filling these up, you're going to spritz this one with the alcohol also to get rid of the air bubbles, and then set this aside and let it completely dry. Okay, then once that's dry, you're just going to take it right out of your mold. Look how pretty those are. And if you'd like to see some more melt and pour soap recipes for Christmas presents, I have several of them that I can show you. If you would like to, just leave me a comment in the description below if you'd like to see some more. Because these are really easy to work with. The ones that are a little log shaped, I'm just going to cut those into 3 pieces, and I'm going to make little guest soaps out of these. That's a cute way to do just some excess soap that you have left over, just to cut it into smaller pieces for guest soap. And next, I'm going to set my soap on a parchment lined cookie sheet, and I'm going to let that set for about a day before I package it. Okay, I've given you these labels in the description below. You can just download them and cut them out. And then I'm just going to punch these with an 1/8 inch hole punch. And I'm going to show you a couple ways to package up your soap. You can purchase these boxes on Amazon. Just get them for the size of the mold that you have. This is a real quick and easy one. It is a little bit more costly. But if you're doing a lot of soap, and if you're doing craft fairs and you're selling your soap, I would definitely recommend investing in some of these little boxes. Dress these up, I'm just going to take an orange slice. I dehydrated mine, but you can buy them already dehydrated on Amazon. And I'm taking a little greenery sprig, and then I'm just taking some jute to wrap around the center of it, and I'm just going to tie it into a bow. It's just kind of decorated up a little bit since I did use sweet orange essential oil on this. I did use an orange in the center of it to decorate it up. And then you just put it in your box, seal up your box, and that's pretty much it. Then I'm just going to add a little tag to it. Now, if you are doing craft fairs, you probably want to put some kind of a label on it as well, saying what kind of soap it is and what's in it. Then I'm just going to take one of the tags that I made. I'm just going to tie a little piece of baker's twine on it, and I'm just going to tie it right around the center of the box. And I'm just going to tie it off into the back. And this is a quick and easy way to package these. All right, see how pretty that turned out? Let me know what you think in the comments. This next way of packaging, I'm going to take 2 of them, stack them up together. I'm going to put another slice of orange and a piece of greenery on it, and I'm going to tie the bundle up with some twine. And I've kind of got them kind of diagonal from each other a little bit, not just straight up and down. And then I'm going to take a plastic bag that has like a gusset bottom in it. Just push it open like that, and then just push this down into the center. And then I'm going to tape the corners in, so that way your bag is not so big. Just tape them right to the bottom. I'm just going to secure the top off with a rubber band. I'm going to add a little piece of greenery just right up underneath my rubber band, and then I'm going to tie a nice ribbon around the center of it. I am going to cut my bag off a little bit short because it was a little bit long. And then I'm just going to finish it off with a ribbon, and I'm going to add a tag. Actually, this is probably the easiest way to wrap this soap, and I think this was actually my favorite. I'm just going to tie that right around the center. All right, look how cute that turned out. And for my little guest soap, I'm taking some little dessert cups I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to put these inside of here, and then I'm just going to bag these up. I think these would actually look cute as a place setting at a party or a party favor if you want to send something home with your guest. And then I just put these in a treat bag, and I'm just taping my corners in. I'm going to add a rubber band around the top. I am going to cut my tops off a little bit short because they were a little bit too tall. And then I'm going to add a little greenery sprig right to the side, and I'm going to add my tag right after that. Okay, then I'm just going to add a little black and white ribbon right around the front, tie it off into a bow, and that's pretty much it. These little guest soaps are so cute. They make really good gifts. All right, look how cute that turned out. Okay, for this next one, I'm going to use some Epsom salt, and I'm using a ½ cup measuring cup, and I'm going to scoop 6 of these in here. So I'm using 3 cups of Epsom salt for this one. And we're making bath salts with this. And if you have any clumps, just reach in there and just kind of squeeze them. They'll break up pretty easily. Okay, next I'm going to use some of the coarse pink Himalayan salt, and I'm going to add 1½ cups of that to this. Next, I'm going to add some baking soda, and I'm going to add about ½ cup to this. If you spill a little bit in there, it's okay. And then just mix this up completely. Just make sure that you have it completely mixed up. Spend some time on this part. Make sure that you have any of the clumps out, and just make sure it blends real well. And if you're looking for a super budget-friendly gift to make, bath salts are real inexpensive, and they go a long way. You get it all mixed up, you're just going to use a funnel and then just spoon them into some little jars. Now I'm using some little 4-ounce flip lid jars that I got on Amazon. I'll give you the link for these. These are really good for bath salts, but you want to fill them up almost to the top, just enough to get the lid back on, and then we'll package them here in just a little bit. And you could use a jar with a lid if you wanted to. These are just make it a little bit handier because you can just kind of pour this into your bath. In this one batch, you ended up making 8 4-ounce bottles. To package these, I've given you these tags in the description below. You're just going to download them, print them on some cardstock, and then just cut them out. And I'm just going to attach these with some regular baker's twine. And I'm using an 1/8-inch hole punch to punch into my tags. And I'm just going to wrap it right around the front, right through the wires, and tie this off into the back. Then I'm going to add a little ribbon right around the top part just to kind of dress it up a little bit. I'm using a black and white check ribbon. I'm running it through the wires, pulling it to the front, and then I'm just going to tie a bow in the front. And to finish these off, I'm just going to take a little greenery sprig and I'm just going to run it right through the wire. This was pretty simple. Look how cute that turned out. Next, I'm going to use some rosemary from my garden, and I'm just going to cut off a bunch of the rosemary sprigs. Then I'm going to take it inside, and I'm going to wash it really well. Now, I'm holding my camera in the other hand, so I'm doing this with one hand, but I am going to put my camera down and clean these super clean. To dehydrate these, you're just going to take a string, tie them all together, and then just hang them up outside in the sun, and then they will dry really nicely. After they've dried, I'm just going to pull all the rosemary off of these. It's real easy. All you do is just really pretty much run your finger down them, and then they'll come off pretty easily. If they're not coming off, they probably aren't dehydrated enough, and you probably want to put them back outside and let them dehydrate a little bit more. But I'm going to use all of these in this recipe. Next, I'm going to grind this up, and I'm just using a coffee grinder for this. You can use a food processor or anything like that, but I do use a coffee grinder just for my seasonings. And you are going to mix this up until it is into a fine powder. Next, you're just going to mix the rosemary with some sea salt. I'm using some fine sea salt, and I'm mixing about 4 parts of the salt to 1 part of the rosemary. And then you just want to really blend it in there good together till it's completely mixed up. And then I'm just going to evenly distribute this between some little 2-ounce jars. I'm just using some 2-ounce glass jars, and I ended up being able to fill 5 of these with this mixture. And then I'm just going to seal them up with the little lids that they came with. And I'm going to put my lids on really tight. Next, I've given you these labels in the description below. These are just a 2-inch Avery label. You can get these on Amazon. They come in white, or you can get them in the brown color. And I've also given you these little tags that you can print out. And if you don't want to use the little round tags on your jars, you can just put this on your bag instead. I was also going to tell you too, if you don't have rosemary, you can buy dried rosemary, and then you can put that in your little food processor and do the same thing. And then to package these, I'm just going to place these down into a bag. Now these are just an 11 by 5-inch bag, and I'm just going to tape the corners up underneath. It just makes the bag look a little bit better if you do that. It's not so big. Just kind of get it centered down in the bottom really good, and then just tape your corners in. And then I'm always using a rubber band around the top to hold it together. I'll give you the link for those rubber bands. They're really handy. And then you're going to want to add your little spoon and your little greenery right to the side. You don't have to add the spoon if you want to, but it does give it a little nice touch right there. And I'm cutting my bag a little bit short. I'm going to add a little ribbon, and then I'm going to add my tag. This was a real quick and easy one, and again, you can use dried rosemary if you don't want to go through the process of getting fresh rosemary and drying it. And these do make great gifts because just about everybody cooks, so it does make a nice seasoning, and it does taste really good. And you can use these on meats or vegetables, just about anything. Okay, look how cute that turned out. This is such a simple little gift. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video today. I hope you start ahead of time on your gifts. It makes it so much easier during the holidays. If you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And if nobody's told you today, you're awesome. See you next time. Thanks for watching.